Alright, so what's up? It's your boy Stark OJ. Now, a bit of a warning, bit of a warning. Both of these videos I'm pretty much going to be releasing called the Yuno video and also the Hitman Reborn video are all just going to be off the top of my head. Because, it's something I want to try for a little while. But, as you know, by the title, this is going to be a misconceptions about Yuno video. And I put a well, it's semi-spoiled. I probably won't put a spoiler in there because I'm not gonna spoil that much anyway. But what I mean by misconceptions is certain aspects of characters that get overlooked by people who either don't watch the show or act like is something that he really isn't. So there's a lot of misconceptions going around there, and I honestly couldn't let the homie Will be the only person to point certain mistakes that people make out. Now, the thing is, I probably won't cover everything in this video, and I probably will do like a part two maybe down the road once there gets more things that I see more frequently in. But I'm probably gonna let me see. The first one I really do want to touch on is pretty much is just talented aspect of his character. Now, the thing about Yuno's talent is mainly that he has had a knack for picking up certain stuff. But we cannot act like is just the most talented person in the world. We all know that in certain things in Black Clover, there's a difference between pure talent and training. And usually the people who train all their life pick up stuff better than people who have better training. If that was the case in Black Clover, then there's a lot of royals who are expected to see they have a lot of talent. They would have been better than a lot of those people that work super hard to get where they are now. But you see in Black Clover, that's not the main point right there. It's a lot of difference that goes in between training and not training, just acting like you have natural power. To pretty much the biggest thing is honestly bring up the biggest the biggest what's the word for that? The biggest comparison is pretty much take not Noelle to some of her siblings, excluding you know excluding Nozel. The thing about those two is that those two pretty much think that they're better than everybody because they have the talent, they have this thing. But what's different and why is Noelle is pretty much stronger than them is because she trained. Even though sometimes she acts like a tsundere, and sometimes she makes it seem like she accomplished this because she's like that way, but we all know that's not true. She's training, trying to get her stuff under control, versus the opposite where they literally think that they can get by just on talent. That's why a lot of those people who act like that are some of the weaker people in the show, are some of the people that either get into battles and lose very quickly because they have a big head like that. So that's been another big reason why, that. But for it's a person like this. He worked very, very hard to train. Anytime he gets something new, he trains it. Anytime something happens, he trains. And the thing about it, we might not see this all the time on screen, but he has trained a lot. And it's pretty much evident from the first, from when he first started. Like he was, if anybody didn't know, and this will probably a point I'm gonna talk on later about his development. But had to develop at a very quickly rate. Well, is in the show terms very quickly. But the thing about is that he has made this far. Even if he got a 4-leaf grimoire, there's a lot of stuff that goes into just getting a 4-leaf grimoire. If you don't train it, you don't get any stronger. And that's why I pretty much liked a lot about how the Black Clover power system works and how well you can take it apart and how well certain things can come into that. Because I feel like a lot of times, a lot of people just look at him getting the 4-leaf grimoire as him being just automatically strong, and that's really not the case. Also, as somebody who literally got a grimoire that nobody literally wants to touch, or anybody really didn't know nothing about until later on in the show, he was able to beat somebody that got entrapped by. The thing about it is that how would I put it? Talent doesn't always save you, and talent will not save you. I feel like honestly, what makes these fights interesting is how much you can see whether a person trained, and Yuno has done a lot of training himself. And the thing about it, we see him work tireless. Austin wasn't the only person that really just trained in the show. They kept on flashing back and stuff like that, like in the first few episodes or the first couple of chapters. The thing is that I feel like honestly, a lot of people neglect this just to hate on Yuno's character as a whole. So it's just something that a lot of people, it should be pretty much obvious, but a lot of people just don't want to obvious because of certain things that all the talent, he's the talented rival kind of joke that they want to make without, actually, fitting that bill. I have done this, I have talked about this, in more of the, in one of my, the cap about, the debunking the cap all about BC and stuff. I have said this first once and before, but honestly, it's a point that, has taking L's. He might have the mana and stuff like that. He might has something that, pretty much a lot of people don't get until like a later point. But honestly, what makes strong now is how much he trains, how much he learns from his, fights, and how much he learns from his mistake. Just like anybody else, like Austin, Noel, anybody who trains and put the efforts in the show will always become stronger than in. That's what I really like about Black Clover. Now, the second part is something that I kind of really want to talk about and hit on a little bit more than the first part. The Yuno is not Sasuke, bro. Just drop the topic. I know Naruto people want to compare every single black hair rival that anybody has to Sasuke, but this is where it kind of stops. If anybody has seen the relationship between Naruto and Sasuke versus the relationship between and Asta, you would never sit there and say that, oh yeah, these two are right. This two rivalry right here emulates Naruto and Sasuke's anyway. And the thing about it is, I know I might, hurt a lot of Naruto fans by saying this, but I don't even really just look at, Sasuke and Naruto is a real, how would I put it, real kind of just tight rivalry. Because a lot of the time it was just Naruto getting mad at Sasuke for being more talented than him and end up him chasing after him. Like, I don't think, and they fought based on not because they was rival, but because of a deeper issue based on that. But I feel like a lot of people gonna come back to me and say that, and I guess if you think it's a rivalry, I feel like it is too. Okay, I feel like that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. But the thing, what I want to say is that, it's not Sasuke. The thing about two different characteristics, and the only thing that's pretty much about the same is that honestly they have black hair and they're a little talented. But the thing is that what I want to say is that Sasuke is way more talented because I'm not gonna sit there and say what Yuno is right now for just for the benefit of leaving out spoilers. But even though Yuno is like that, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Even if he is that, it doesn't grant him more power because of that. You know what I mean? Versus Sasuke comes from a descendant of a family that specialized in the Sharingan, which at first probably was kind of downplayed, but if you have watched until like the later ends of Naruto, and even if you look at how many of how many Renegons, Sharingans, and stuff like that have been used and how powerful they are, it makes a whole different difference that you have talent like that. You can even look at Sarada and see the same thing. It's not like I'm not gonna sit here and say she didn't train for none of it, just like I'm not here to say, Sasuke didn't train for none of his. But the point I really just want to emphasize on is that, yeah, they had a bigger boost. Fourthly, Grimoire and Black Clover does give you a little bit of boost, but from the time it really just doesn't matter much. The more you go down, the more you try to get in, the more you get attacked by other countries, the more certain things like right now, I can sit here and tell you that honestly, if this arc right now we in Black Clover, unfortunately, Grimoire doesn't really matter much, and that's how I feel. Like that's how it feels right now. Unfortunately, Grimoire doesn't matter much. And I feel like a lot of people I talk to can back that up too, that it doesn't really just matter much. It becomes something that is not really used anymore. So that's kind of how I feel. Like with that situation, like I said, Yuno is not Sasuke. Even like the only thing that, like I said, you could compare is the little talent they got and maybe the black hair. And saying that Yuno is just immensely talented is just kind of pushing the bar, especially blessed as Sasuke is. But that's the end of that. But the last point I really just want to make, and this is the last point, development. Now the thing about it, a lot of people get on characters for being static, or a lot of characters they don't think they're as good as other characters who have to change, like who has be able to develop at the end. Now for me, is if you at least watch like at least maybe one or two episodes of Black Clover, you already know that Yuno has developed when he was a kid from what he is right now. From what he is right now, this is fully developed Yuno. Yuno maybe needs to, a little bit more expounding on his whereabouts and stuff like that. Maybe a little bit more expounding on his character, a little bit more into his, deeper into his feelings. But I don't feel like is at the point where he just needs to develop. He doesn't really need that much development, especially since his rival doesn't need that much development either. I feel like they came into the scene as Asta came into the scene more ready to develop characters around him, and the first person he helped develop around his characteristics is Yuno. So a lot of people think that, saying that, oh yeah, this character didn't develop or something like that, he's a bad character. That does not mean, because Yuno is far from being a bad character. Like, honestly, Yuno is not my favorite character in Black Clover, but he ain't the worst either. Like, he's around my top 10 or top 5 at least at being my favorite characters. So I'm not doing this just to be biased, but honestly, he doesn't need development. And I feel like people who need rapid development also don't get looked at why they need development. The reason why somebody might need development is because they are bad off in that character situation. And the reason why they need development, because if they stay in that situation so long, obviously there's 2 points that I want to bring out. They become a boring character. And they honestly, if they never get better, that's when they stick at being a terrible character. So they need the development to, A, keep the reader, interested, and B, also show the character's growth into becoming something that's better. And that's what I'm thinking about. A lot of people saying the character is static, that already has been a good written character, because let's be honest, there's always a way you can have a good written character without unnecessarily development so much. And that's what I feel like with y'all, Austin and but main thing with Yuno doesn't really need to develop that much because he has already developed. You can already see that transition in him. And the thing about it is that if I were to ask the people who always complain about, not developing the protagonist and what they need to develop in, a lot of times they can't give you an obvious reason. Just like if I were to ask somebody that hates so much and saying that he's the worst character or the worst rival in Shonen Jump or character in Shonen Jump as to why he needs development, they can never give me a straight answer other than development is good. And that's not the case for every character. And you can tell that they've been so fed up or so, infatuated with somebody that needs to, develop every turn around, that they just become reliant on that as a necessary trait for a character, which doesn't need it. So I think I dragged this video on way too long, but this is Misunderstandings about part 1, because I feel like there's a lot more that I could talk about in the part 2 of this video. So I want y'all to be on the lookout of that. So if you enjoyed this video, can you give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below saying if you liked it or not. I meant saying what I could work on, or any kind of video topic, or anything you want to add to this list that you think I could hit on for the misunderstandings about Also, if you dislike this video, it's not like, you can leave a comment down why you just didn't like this video. You can still like and you can still leave a like and subscribe to see if I got any more content for you. But also, yeah, subscribe, share this video. If you like this video and you want other people to see it, please share this video. But this has been Stark OJ. Peace. This has been Stark OJ. Peace. This has been Stark